Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. USAA Renters Insurance. Cover your gear with the official insurance sponsor of the Call of Duty League.
A beautiful shot there of California. What, maybe 70 and sunny. We're expecting a great day and also a long day, as it is day number 3 of the Stage 3 Major. As we said, 5 matches to go, and we're starting things off with a banger, as Lottie likes to say. The London Royal Ravens taking on the LA Thieves. It's an elimination match, as Lena would study here for you guys on the call. We're sitting pretty in blue. Is that how you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, we're looking good, man. You know, we're matching. No, but this is going to be a great match. On one side, you have London, who are a Cinderella story so far throughout the Major. These guys have just completely flipped the switch. And just watching these guys play, it's been really good to watch them just improve on every step with everything that's been thrown at them this year. And on the opposite side, you have the Thieves, who are just making off a roster change, picking up a player like Huke. And they've just been losing every single map. So close, so close. So this is going to be a banger of a series.
It is, man. Like we said, it's an elimination game. Loser of this series goes out in top 8. Winner of this match, by the way, just plays in a few hours versus the Toronto Ultra. So as we said, a lot on the line. Lives are at stake when we talk about the future of this tournament. But like we said, folks, we got to meet one of our teams to start things off. This roster has yet to win with their new addition. They brought in Huke the Nuke. Can they get the job done today? Let's go ahead and meet the LA Thieves. And there is your Los Angeles Thieves, possibly having home court advantage. I don't know. At least that's what the pixels would imply. LA Thieves, now with Huke in the team, this is their 3rd match with him now in the lineup. Still have yet to get a W. Study. What's your opinion on this team right now?
I really like this team. It's just tough, man, because their last 2 matchups, they've played really close. Like, yeah. They lost 4 hard points that come down to about 50 points each. They've lost 2 search and destroys, which come down to a 6-5, 1 round apiece. And then even their control, which has been their best game mode, it hasn't really been there. It hasn't really been clicking for these guys all together yet. And it's just because they're a new roster. But I'm excited to see how they have more time underneath their belt, more matches, and now with the plays that have been happening to them, like this series versus Florida, Neptune going absolutely insane in the first 2 maps. That doesn't happen. We'll be talking about a totally different situation for the Thieves, but I'm excited to see if they can bounce back today.
Yeah, I am too. Actually, there's a lot of eyes on this team, and you know, it's just a matter of when is it going to happen, right? When is it going to happen with who? Can it be this series? But we talk about this team. This next team coming up, right? They have been so solid. What a wise man once said, you have no idea how high I can fly. And that's what the Ravens mantra is right now. Can they keep the streak up? Can the Cinderella story stay alive coming into this matchup? We will find out. But let's go ahead and meet the London Royal Ravens. And there's a look at your London Royal Ravens. It has been a different team every major, but without a doubt, this is the best iteration right now of the team. What's that? They are 4-1 and their last 5 off of a 3-0 sweep yesterday versus the Røkkr.
Yeah, man, this team is just clicking on all cylinders. Like, when it comes to the respawns, even if they're getting outslayed, they're still making the right plays to be able to win that map. And then in the search and destroy, we saw that improvement yesterday in their matchup versus Minnesota. The fact that they were able to take that one and end it out in a 3-0 is something that we weren't expecting out of London, because that is their weaker mode. They have just been improving, and it's just the players just having so much confidence between each other. But let's just hop right into our game field keys to victory for London. They need to keep up that hardpoint hot streak, going on 5 consecutive hardpoint wins. That's insane, man, because like I said, sometimes they get outslayed and they're still able to come out on top. And then the teamwork needs to make the dream work. It got them through a lot of tricky situations yesterday versus Minnesota. They need to keep that up. And then Paul X and Shawnee, they need to be able to handle business, because on the opposite side for LA Thieves, you know what kind of AR duo they have. Kenny's looking really good. Drazah's looking really good. They need to be on form today.
Yeah, I know there was kind of some fingers pointed at Kenny, just like, oh, you know, we didn't have the greatest series. But it's like, be real, like ever since Kenny has got the main AR, like that is the one series that you can point at. Like maybe not the greatest performance, but you expect Kylo Ken be back at it today. And speaking of him, now our game fuel keys to victory here for the LA Thieves. Win that opening hardpoint. LAT are 0-4 since adding Huke, and as we know, the Royal Ravens are red hot right now in that mode. And then also have to get back on the same page, especially in those search and destroys, as they have suffered back-to-back round 11 losses. And Kenny, he needs to be a menace again. He has been a force on the map and can bring a new hope to the Thieves. Like I said, the 0.82 KD, -16 versus the Mutineers on Thursday. Maybe some Star Wars puns in there. Who knows? Maybe a Star Wars lover like myself may have, you know, had a little bit of an opportunity to tone those up a little bit. But as we said, stud, Kylo Ken, Huke, Skywalker, we got Drazah, Venom on this team. I mean, like I said, it's kind of a matter of like, when is this team going to perform? And versus a solid roster like London, I mean, when we get ready to kind of discuss the maps and modes, where do you see maybe the plan of attack for Thieves to try and get things going now?
I think it's definitely this very first hardpoint, because Garrison, you have Huke on your team now. The guy can run around and just pick up a lot of kills. And watching London yesterday on this map versus Minnesota, they won this map while getting outslayed. So you just got to make sure that you're playing the fundamentals correct. Make sure that your ARs are setting up towards top green, but really allowing your submachine gun players to really take over.
Yeah, man. Like I said, in terms of the vetoes, Moscow hardpoint banned now for LAT, which is kind of funny, not considering the new team that they have. But I guess nothing really too much sticks off the page, I guess, when it comes down to the vetoes?
No, not really, because, you know, the checkmate for both of these guys, that's going to be their favorite control. So we were bound to see that map on that map number 3. And then the search and destroys, obviously Express. We saw the Thieves lose it in a 6-5 fashion. The Ravens, they're not really good at that map, so that one kind of threw me off guard. But this very first map is going to tell me a lot about how the series is going to go.
One thing that's interesting, man, like we've had this matchup a number of different times, actually. We talked about the London Royal Ravens versus the LA Thieves. Well, we are just, you know, at the Stage 3 Major. This is the 5th time that they have met up this season. I don't know if this is like the record for the teams who have played each other the most, but it has to be up there. And so far, it is 2-2 on the season. LA winning the last 2 engagements. Most recent one was at the, Stage 3 regular season. One before that it was actually at the Stage 2 Major, man. What was it? Wasn't the reverse sweep that the Thieves got?
Yeah, it definitely was a reverse sweep. And I'm just thinking about that Apocalypse hardpoint, because that was that first map that was in that previous series throughout the Major 2. And the Ravens, they choose it to be map 4 this time, so they feel real confident there. I'm pretty sure they're 4-0 on that map. So I feel like they did a good job on these map vetoes when it comes to the hardpoints for the Ravens side.
And as you said, it will be a nice little split spawn already off the rip. So quickly, LA, right before I get ready to ask you a question, stud, maybe a great situation for them. Kenny quickly caught out, and understandably so. Now that could free up some mid-map control. So despite Kenny being in the back of the base, of which he still is alive, it does free up the Thieves to grab some points through middle, and it also does set up Huke to make his way in through bricks. So we'll hold off on the questions for now and just wonder, maybe could this be a break for Thieves?
Yeah, this potentially has a chance to be a break, but with 2 players spawning out all the way across the map, you're going to see all of London just being aggressive towards these opposite players on the opposite side. They're trying to locate Kenny. He's going to be the last player of the Thieves on this side, but he's picking up kill left and right. But eventually he's going to get taken down by a nade. So that's going to force London to have a full setup for that P2. But here comes the Thieves, straight through bricks, able to set up a pinch. They're able to break right on in as soon as they want to.
Good start early. Zaptius realizing the point may in fact be clear. A current 3 versus 1 in favor of the Ravens, with the majority of players possibly siphoning in from green. And Zed, oh, you know, he's ready. He's prepared for it. This guy has been a menace on the map recently. Now it's Shawnee's turn. A quick trade inside of the hill. Back and forth we go, and now it may come down to a big 1 versus 1. That's going to belong to Paul. Players quickly off of spawn. Thieves not giving this hard point up yet.
Yeah, they're not. They're just trying to make sure that they're pinning those players from the Ravens towards their back P2 spawn. And also keeping that rotation towards the next one. But you see that player in Zed, he's thinking big picture. It's time to focus on that rotation while his teammates are deciding to push through. And he's able to win that first engagement. So that's huge because he's going to be the only player from the Thieves to be on this side of the map. And here comes the pressure from the Ravens. Now they're going to be able to flip out, kill every single person, and now have a full setup for this P3.
And I feel like when we've talked about the Ravens, I mean, Zed kind of has been the route man. Like, I know that mantra kind of belongs to a number of different players, but I mean, from the hard points that we've been able to spectate, he has just been so good in that role as the Thieves break in from the front. And despite having those close spawns, it will be Paul left between a rock and a hard place, hanging out in the garage, really waiting for his teammates to come off and spawn. But Kenny, he's nailing them down left and right. Constant players popping into feed for London, and there goes Shawnee as well. Another great position and opportunity for Thieves as they will retake the lead on this hill.
So that's 2 hard points right off the rip where the Thieves are able to break in as soon as that hill pops. And they're just causing so many problems right now for the Ravens. They're not getting any time. They're also having the bad spawns. And even though the Thieves are not there off the early rotation, the fact that they were able to break into those hard points for that P2, for that P3, and not let the lead just grow so drastically in favor of the Ravens, this is a great start for the Thieves. You already see what they're doing, trying to set up for that P4, and they should be able to take the lead here with 4 down.
Oh, and with that 4 down, Thieves, they may start to smell blood in the water. Again, it is an even game, but now we head toward bottom floating. Thieves currently with control. The other side, it's Ravens looking for the attack. As now we'll step aside and go to an Astro listening with London.
Absolutely. Wait, one as well. P1. P1 one shot. P1. He's trying to get Carlos dead. Good kill. One dog. That's on green. Two fires down, main them. Almost dog. I need to take. I'm dead. You went to plat. Yeah, I'm going to slay the team. Good take. Yeah, that's one deep. Yeah, tools one shot. Race tank dead.
Kenny, that's 2 tools.
Absolute tools, Kenny. I'm one top 40, so cool. I'm top green, good.
Kenny, one shot dead.
Give me mid tank. Tank,
Go me.
Top green hurt.
Okay, one at a time.
That's one behind bricks.
Yeah, they
got
Kyler, mid tanks.
Bricks dead.
Left side square.
Let's go. What's gonna be able then?
I need time.
In the box, 1-0.
We can climb.
Top bridge.
He's in the corner somewhere.
Yep.
He's in the corner. Bricks.
That's one dark.
I need help.
I'm seeing bricks.
Appreciate
it. I'm
nice. Free dead. One.
Let's say bricks.
Wait for this time.
He's in the door. Can you get him? What's over you? Back hill, something. Back here.
Show me. I'm on shot.
There's two bricks. One brick, speak up. One more brick. Push the brick, speak side, Charles. I'm back. Yo, just spawning back right.
Arch dead. Arch.
I got your feet. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, there's
trying bricks. Would you help cross that?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Help him brick.
Kenny's absolute outer brick.
Okay, great.
2 outer.
One more back tank, Zach.
Okay, get green control.
Good shit, good.
He went last.
Really just a back and forth game through the first side of rotations. It was London for a moment having the Thieves locked back in that back tank spawn trap, but they reclaim control and now hold those P2 spawns as that will kind of be the focus for now. But I gotta say, kind of getting back to the comms, that I gotta say, man, I just always love hearing Shawnee, right? The Scotsman just kind of calling out to the troops. I think he's really stepped up in the communication as of late for the team.
Yeah, he definitely has, man. He's a leader. You got to be leading by example. So when Shawnee's talking, everybody will be listening. And you just heard multiple times right there with Thieves. They were trying to set up for multiple hard points, but they just kept on setting up a pin spawn. There was two players on both sides for the Ravens spawning on both sides, so they were just able to eventually kill everyone and then force the Thieves to spawn out towards that back tank. And right there, that's just one of those mistakes right there that the Thieves are not really planning for. If they would have trapped them out towards that back P3 spawn and then eventually flipped them towards the back tank, they would have gained a lot more time on that P5 hard point. But the Ravens, they capitalized on it. They win a majority of those gunfights. Time was just going back and forth on this P1 hard point. And this game has been so far so good. It's been a really close hard point. But early rotation to that P2 is going to be the Thieves. So this can be the opportunity that they need to open this game wide open.
And we talk constantly, right? You know, obviously, Ravens, they do have the advantage when we talk about just kind of their recent performances in hardpoint. But really, the last 3 HPs that Thieves have played, it has been back and forth. Despite being 0-4 with Huke, it is not a surprise as Paul is hitting the beams from afar. Kind of indicating to us how neck and neck of a hardpoint this has been. But Thieves now with the opportunity to maybe get the full 60. somewhat of a staggered push so far from the Ravens as they have yet to get anything going. They attempted to flank through bricks. Thieves, they smell it out. With 20 seconds left, you already see London focusing on P3.
And just looking at Kenny's stat, 21 and 15. Yesterday in that series versus Florida, he had a .8, and that's just something you weren't expecting. Because ever since this guy's touched that AR role, he's just been putting on a show. So he's back in form,
come on,
playing really well for his team. His team is winning gunfights off the rotation. Now it's going to be all left up to Shawnee in the backside. Try to stay alive. Just try to wait for his teammates to get close enough before he decides to challenge some engagements, but Huke's gonna sniff him out, able to pick that kill, puts him on a fire spree, and just like that, the Thieves are able to break in, and now they're just chaining that time, growing the lead even more.
I can just imagine, like, you know, management and whatnot, just seeing Huke go on a spree like that, and they're just like, yep, that's the reason why we've got the nuke now on our team. Make it 6 in a row, possibly 7. At least somewhat contributes to the ending of that fight, as it will be the Thieves breaking on in, grabbing control now of P3. Back-to-back money hills going in their hands as they have reached that 200-second mark. And really, this is the first time that we've seen the Ravens humbled in hardpoint in a while. By no means is the game over, but based on what the Thieves have been able to do as of late, with the way that really Huke and the rest of the squad is beaming, it is going to be a tall task as they are up over 100 points. Ravens, they at times have been good, kind of in these last few hills. Stud, we've got to watch them on Garrison a little bit. P4 and P5 at times can be theirs, but just with the score disparity that we see right now, I mean, you just see it. I mean, Huke is gunning. Everybody cannot find a kill for London.
Yeah, Thieves are like, they woke up today and was like, nuh-uh, we're not losing a 5th hard point. There's no way. Not with the players that we have on our roster. Kenny came to play. The duo between Kylo Ken and Huke Skywalker are out to play on this map number 1. 230 to 108. Venom picking up kills left and right. They have the spawns towards top green. The Ravens are just playing from the back foot this entire game so far. You have 2 players who are basically sitting at neg 10. We're talking about it. They can get outslayed sometimes, but right now the Thieves, they're just keeping way too much pressure up and not making too many mistakes in this very first map.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it's been down to. Like, I mean, I think it was Nade who tweeted the other day about how we're just making some small mistakes. I know that he, you know, kind of later on social media basically said, you know, shouldn't have said that, but a lot of the community was like, no, it's okay, man. Like, you got to be honest, which you know, we obviously get it from his perspective.
Passion.
Yeah, it's passion. He knows exactly what he's talking about, and it really has been these minor mistakes. But you see, once a team like this, with the core that they have, no mistakes, and you can see how much of an impact that makes. Is 10 seconds remaining before this one is done and dusted. The Ravens' hardpoint streak, in fact, looks to end here. Now 9 more seconds. Venom getting all but comfortable inside of the base as he eventually drops, but I guess the focus now for London, I mean, obviously you're going to try to play out this hard point as best you can, but I feel like their minds have got to be in a different place knowing what the score is. As final few kills come in. Of course it's Huke, of course it's Kenny. The puns are there without a doubt, and the final 2 seconds are in. And that will be a W in the camp of the Thieves. A major W to start off this series.
And that's gotta be confident for the Thieves, man, because that was not an easy map to get done, and they blew them out by at least 130 points. And it just all came down to that second rotation of hard points when they were able to just fight back and forth for that P1, but just keep those spawns for P2. They held it down for a full 60, and then London, you forced them to rotate. And Thieves, they just, with their gun skill, with the players that they have on their roster, they're feeling really confident. They just go straight up the middle of the map, win a majority of those gunfights, and flip out those spawns and just grow the lead substantially. And at that point, it was just too late for the Ravens to fight back into this one. The Thieves are red hot. Everybody on the map went positive. And right there, Paul X, not having the best map number 1, but hopefully able to bounce back on that map number 2.
And he has been the guy for London, right? We saw in the interview kind of to start off the day from yesterday after the win they had versus Minnesota. It was like, you know what? It could be a quick 3-0, right? We're confident. And he said that's kind of been his biggest thing that he has learned is how important that confidence and composure can be. Definitely going to need the latter in this situation when we talk about what this next Search and Destroy is going to provide for us. But like I said, man, it's somewhat surprising, right? Somewhat surprising to see the Ravens go down like they did. But I guess, like I said, that if you are a team like this, you got to be somewhat frustrated, right? There's been so much talk on social media, whether it's Reddit, Twitter, whatever it may be, even YouTube, for example, talking about, you know, Thieves, did they make a mistake? Like, you know, did they really have something good going? Is this a problem? Granted, series by no means over, but this has to feel good if you are in the Thieves camp.
Yeah, you definitely do, because you know, it was It was just a waiting time. It was just the time was taken, and eventually it was all going to come together for this roster. Because, you know, when you pick up a player like Huke, the guy can just do it all in the map. Like, he's one of the best Call of Duty players of all time. So when you have him to the roster, things are obviously not clicking in the beginning, but more time they put in, it eventually will show the results they want.
Yeah, man. Well, the result is good to start things off. Thieves, they walk away with the opening victory, and now the conversation comes into that search and destroy. It will be express for game number 2. Make sure to stay with us, as we'll find out if Ravens can even it up or if Thieves can continue on their spree.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Unlock a CDL team pack with any purchase on gamefuel.com/CDL while supplies last. Offer ends on August 31st. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
We're celebrating the Stage 3 Major with a giveaway. Winners will get a controller of choice featuring the winning team's design and a CDL mid-season pack. To enter, follow @Scump Gaming on Twitter, retweet this tweet, tag 2 friends as well. This one will end on Sunday, May 16th at the end of the broadcast. I have been having many debates myself on maybe I should get maybe a London Royal Ravens jersey, maybe a controller. I mean, there's like I said, there's so many options to get, and the reason for that study is because of the run and the story that London have been able to kind of brew as of late. As we said, 4-1 in their last 5. They've been playing so good kind of in this streak, and like I said, man, they've been the story so far throughout the elimination bracket.
Yeah, but ever since since May 9th, these guys have been undefeated in Respawn. So that's going to be their very first loss in that Respawn hardpoint. And now they have to bounce back, and which is their worst game mode for this team in that search and destroy. And it's not like it's going to be easy. Obviously, on the opposite side, you have the Thieves who make that roster change, so they're still trying to work out the kinks. But on a map like Express, this is where London haven't really seen a lot of success. I'm pretty sure they're 1-4 on the season, and it's just not good for these guys. I just keep on always thinking back to that 5-1 comeback versus New York. Like, that was really sent them off track when it came to this game mode. And now they find themselves down 0-1 in this series. We talked about the confidence that pauLX has. And yesterday in the series versus Minnesota, it was definitely pauLX and Zaptius who went so big in the search and destroy. And they're going to need to repeat that performance today versus the Thieves on this map number 2 to stay alive in this series.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think Zaptius dropped like 13 kills, and I think like Paul had like the 1v2 clutch, like dropped 8. And we were saying like throughout that series, it was like Johnny and Zed were basically like, okay, cool. Like, we're just going to hang out. No problem. You guys, this is the Young Guns Western duo. You guys got this. No big deal. But I mean, what, man, when you do lose a respawn like that, again, it's not happened in a while for Ravens. They've talked consistently about that confidence. Zed has said it. As you mentioned, Paul has brought it up, even in that interview. I mean, how much do you think that kind of affects them coming into the search and destroy?
I think it definitely affects them a little bit, you know, because obviously when the confidence is not there, if you're not feeling that momentum going in for that map number 1, the search and destroy, it cannot be in your favor, because you can just tell that the way that the Thieves are shooting in that map number 1, they're really feeling themselves. So they're being nice and aggressive early towards that B bomb, but unfortunately, Venom is going to get first blooded, and London now have the man advantage.
You'd expect to see that gunfight engagement quite a bit. Zaptius versus Venom. Venom has been kind of, at times for the Thieves, that entry player that got to walk away with first bloods, and it's really kind of been the story so far for London and their search and destroys has been Zap, his performance looked great with some nice shots there onto Huke, but it's overall a trade that favors the Ravens. It'll be Kenny and Huke falling off the map. Not necessarily falling off the map, but dropping. You know, no Clayster situations here. Drazah, though, with the beams. Now able to make it a 1 versus 2.
Now in the 1v2, you see what the Ravens players are doing. Trying to be aggressive to try to push them out, but the position they have, they're able to spot that bomb from the middle of the map. So Drazah now left in a 1v2 with 25 seconds left. He's going to be able to spot Zed, but he's just going to play his life. Fortunately, Zed is going to change his positioning, but he's going to win the gunfight. So right there, the Ravens, they walk away. They get the nice early first blood. They win a majority of those gunfights on the round. Plant the bomb towards B, force it into a 2v1. Played it perfectly to win the first round. Good job out of the Ravens.
Yeah, solid job early out of London. And again, kind of this conversation around London has been their search and destroys. And I think that's kind of what we've been talking about with the Ravens so far throughout this major stud. Is like, okay, cool. Hard points, that's awesome. Eventually, you are going to lose one. Unless your name is New York, you're eventually going to lose a hard point. You're eventually going to lose a respawn. How do you bring it back in the search and destroy? And they will have the answer for us. Is now on their opening attack, or rather, the opening defense. It's going to be, what, 2 quick players. Zed and Zaptia sent through the flank. Huke's going to be here to read it. So the trade ends out regardless. The bomb does, in fact, go down. And the retake opportunity is here for London, but Drazah is sitting at such a difficult spot. How many times have we seen ARs just mow down the opponents? Thankfully, Paul does get the nice angle. Now a 2 versus 2.
Now in a 2v2, the bomb is going to be down, but Venom is able to spot Zaptia, so it's now all up to Paul X to try to locate both players and defuse this bomb, but Thieves aren't giving him anything. They're not trying to shoulder, they're not trying to peek, because they know that eventually he has to work this defuse, and with 10 seconds left, just going to play the clock right, and the Thieves are able to walk away with the early offensive round. And a big play right there comes out of Huke, because the fact that he was able to just be aggressive towards the flank, take one down before he drops, it completely changed the play right there for London. They were committed towards that flank, but once Huke is able to trade that kill out, they all try to wrap back through the middle of the map, which is exactly what the Thieves wanted them to do, and eventually they close out that round.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk right about Huke, his ability to come on to the Thieves, how it may kind of impact their search and destroy in somewhat of a negative way, and I don't know exactly what his search and destroy KD is kind of coming into this, but with how clinical the Thieves are, I mean, you talk about the Empire last year, how he was able to kind of develop inside of their system. You got a guy who can shoot like that. Like his chances to be molded well, but just as I say that, Huke, part of the first blood engagement, the nice nade from Shawnee, will now give the Ravens the man advantage. And I thought for a moment they may try to go for the rotation at A, but may in fact realize that this mid lane, this mid track may in fact be open. With that being the case, it could set them up quite nicely, but Venom and Drazah trying to go their separate ways. And with that, how about the shots from Venom? Putting Paul in the dirt. As the Ravens look to try and rebound, saying, I don't know exactly how that gunfight went that way. Maybe some choice words from Paul in the comms, but 28 seconds, you got to go for a plant here soon. Shawnee does get the entry there on Drazah. Now it all is down to Venom. Down to the Røkkr. Does he look to play this? How does he elect to try to make it? He is going to get the read on his Shawnee. Does see his back. They know plant is going to be here over at A. 5 seconds left. Zap, he has no choice. He has to go for the plant. Old teammates facing off. Very familiar with each other, but Venom able to snap on him. Takes down Zap, who had to go for the plant. A major clutch there from the young gun.
Yeah, and that's just, I don't really like the call right there out of the Ravens. Like, you get those 2 kills, you turn it into a 2v1. Eventually, you want to work towards that B plant, because once Venom was able to spot Shawnee going towards that catwalk steps, he knows that eventually the bomb has to get planted. There's no way Zaptis is going to win this round if he does not plant this bomb. So the clock really worked in his favor right there with the insane 2v1 clutch out of the Røkkr to just be trigger discipline right there, not to shoot early onto Shawnee, but eventually just let the play develop. He comes out on top. Just a great play right there out of the rookie.
Yeah, great play from him, starting off 4-1. You know, it's been a story that we've talked about a little bit, just because, like I said, these teams have matched up so often. But again, you do have that Western reunion. We talked about Paul and Zap alongside Venom, but 2 early kills come in from the Ravens, and Zed will answer for the 3rd. The long-range shots onto Venom. in a round that you wanted to see replied back from London, probably more dominant than we expected.
Yeah, that was one of those flash rounds right there. Just Shawnee opened up with some great shots to open up with the first blood, and then the pressure from his teammates from that top B bomb site. Just too much for the Thieves to handle. They just walk away with that round with ease. Just gunfights, not going back and forth. I'm pretty sure the Ravens walked away with 4 clean. So that was a good push right there out of the Ravens on the defensive hold.
Yeah, Team Ace, look, I mean, everybody got a kill. Ask for better than that. We'll see how they look to echo off of it now into their attack. Early shots coming in, and it's Huke. Does find the opener. Venom quickly on the reply, cannot stay alive. So those extra bullets coming through from the Krig that do bring us now to a 2 versus 3, and in the midst of that, London realized we don't have numbers. They carefully rotate now toward the other side of the map. This one down soon. They would have a nice position here over at B, as the Thieves have yet to rotate.
Yeah, so this is going to be a free B, but I'm playing for the Ravens. Now left in a 2v3 situation. You see what Huke and Kenny are trying to do. Just stay together. 3v2 situation. If you just play the trades out correctly, it should be fine. But Drazah, unfortunately, he's going to eat a couple shots, but he gives the information to his teammates. So both of these players are going to wrap back to the tunnel. They're able to single out Arcitys, and now it's all left up to Shawnee in a 1v2. He has to try to play the clock as much as he can. Because with 25 seconds left, Thieves have to try to locate him, but he's going to give us positioning, and the challenge is going to come from Kenny. Good teamwork right there out of the Thieves to just make sure that they regrouped and play their trades correctly. Good round right there.
I thought for a moment, like, maybe Shawnee wants to kind of stay there in the hallway, try to put that Krig to good use, but he just gets on the bomb and obviously gets caught with a nade in his hand. It's been strictly back and forth. A lot of fast rounds. The first bloods have come decently quick, but except from the Thieves' perspective, right? You got the 3 versus 2. Try to trade out. You go for some.
Just get together.
Yeah, you just exactly. Like you just make sure you're not making mistakes. Granted, in that position, you see a little bit of an early peak, yes, but Thieves walk away with it regardless. Just continuing to harpen down just to make sure that those mistakes aren't as prevalent as they've been. We've got ourselves a neck-and-neck search and destroy, folks. What we love to see. Some good old Express. So happy to have it back in the rotation, and it has treated us with some wonderful, wonderful games. As we said, elimination match, a lot on the line. And what a big dub this could be for the Thieves. What a big round it could be as well. I mean, going up 4-2, we talk about it often. Puts Ravens in a very awkward spot. So far with the attack, Zapti is the first person to get visuals. Venom did expire a few bullets, but nothing landing as of yet. Nade is in, but the plant will be successful.
Yeah, the plan is going to be successful. Now it's going to be a 4-4 retake for the Ravens. And you see they have 3 players that are trying to push from the front side, but I'm really focused on that flank engagement between Shawnee and Huke. You have Huke, who's going to be on that catwalk steps. He's just going to back down, just let Shawnee run through the middle of the map. But time is ticking. London have to go. They have to eventually get into this play. Huke is eventually going to catch Shawnee.
Oh, come on.
He's going to hit some great shots onto Zed for the 2. The third is going to come in, make it 4, and just like that, a clean round for the Thieves. 4v4 retake, no siree. London do not get a single kill on the round, and Thieves, they just close it out there. 2 pieces from both the submachine gun players to put them up 4-2.
That's a round, right? If you're JCap, if you're just management in general, you're looking at that and you're just like, that's what we want to see, right? I mean, Huke said Huke doesn't go for the engagement. He wraps around. He knows exactly where Shawnee's position is roughly going to be, takes him down, and then just adds a nice little long shot on top of it. The SMGs are frying to start, specifically Venom. 7-3, plan consistent throughout this search and destroy, and as Rambo would like to say, as for the con gods, I'd like to imagine. Swing round. Swing round here for London. Argue a must-win as the quick trade, as we've seen so many times, is in yet again, but Huke taking down Shawnee once more. But this has just kind of been the story, man. Like, just Ravens 2 versus 3s, 1 versus 2s, just situations like this where they just constantly are not having that man advantage.
No, they do not, but look at what the Thieves are doing. Unfortunately, they're going to have to catch a couple players towards that top catwalk. Huke is not able to walk away with his life, but now it's a 2v2. Kenny's going to be able to trade, and now it's left up to Drazah in a 1v1 versus Paul, and he's able to win it. And that's when it comes down to the Thieves, just playing their numbers correctly. Even though his teammate gets picked, they're still putting the aggression on, because if they get that first trade, it turns it to a 2v1. At that point, 1v1 situation, Drazah making the play right there to close out on Paul X. He was a little bit weak, but It's a great play right there to the Thieves. 3v2, stay together, play the buddy system, and eventually walk away with the round.
You just saw there, like after the round, Thieves, they're just laughing. They're just having a great time. Like, we love COD. This is great. And I love their content, man. They just do such a great job with that. Obviously, team chemistry is going to be somewhat affected when you do lose a guy like Tej, but it is all smiles right now. 5-2 advantage. Possibly staring down a 2-0 series to start. Oh, and Zaptius cannot lose that. Huke once again hitting some nutty shots. Venom, meanwhile, able to find one of his own. A 2 versus 2. Again, unable to find that.
Yeah, I didn't like that play right there out of Huke. And that's what we talk about with the Thieves right there. Just single challenging, not really letting the play develop. You catch both players off guard. I would like that bomb to just go down and then force the Ravens players to just be a little more aggressive, force them to work together and let them run into you. But the single challenge comes in right there from Huke to cost them that round. Eventually, the Ravens, they close out in a 2v1 situation. Now, they're still alive in this map number 2. But there's just some early aggression. Once again, both squads trading back and forth. That was a great round. But now we're going into another offensive push for London, which they have been struggling with so far. They need to figure out what they're trying to do, what they're trying to execute. So far, if they're aggressive towards that low B site, the Thieves have countered it. But it's looking like they're just going to send 4 players down, and the only player in this position is going to be Kenny. So he has to try to play his life and back down.
Yeah, let him go 4 deep. Investing a lot into this round, Paul. That's down Venom to start. This is a good way to begin this one. Can he get the information? Does not walk away with a kill at all. So you got 2 players who've really not been in this gunfight as of yet. Just really getting call-outs in that players are weak. All they know is that it is an onslaught toward the B-bomb. But player 3 and Drazah trying to make some noise toward the outer, which will set up Huke to come in from the hallway. A lot of damage done, but no death yet to come in for London. And Huke and Drazah pull off something special. Huke goes for the peek. Has to sacrifice his life, but Drazah 30 seconds on the clock. With that positioning out of London, this is just going to be so difficult. He gets picked off. London back to back.
That's 2 rounds straight, man. Going into round 10, so far London have found some momentum in the late rounds of this game to try to get back into this one. A lot of team pushes coming in so far in the last 2 rounds that have really just caught the Thieves players off guard. They're just outnumbering their opponents in these engagements. But now the Ravens are going to go into another defensive stand. Let's see what the Thieves decide to do. Do they decide to be aggressive towards that B-bomb site once again? But no, they're going to switch it up this time. Take it nice and slow towards that 8 point. The only thing is, this side, the Ravens have 3 players that are going to be committed towards that tick-a-boop area. This is going to be an early engagement in towards the train. Unfortunately, Huke is not able to close it out, but Paul X, having control of this top room, is able to take down 2 and force it into a 4v2 situation.
See the Thieves? They're packing up. They have to get out of the bomb site. I mean, just this attack totally well read out of London. And Paul, who I believe sits on the 6th spree, that is going to get taken down. So, not have to worry about streaks if you are the Thieves.
Look at number 1.
Can he have heard the steps of Shawnee? At least has somewhat of an idea, or maybe he just happens to find himself in a good spot. Nice shot. They're out of the Scotsman, as now it is all down to Huke. A 1 versus 3. Possibly for the game. Does he get the timing? He does not. And the Ravens, despite going down 5-2, have rallied to bring it back now to round 11. That, I mean, what? Obviously, all the momentum currently in the Ravens side. What needs to be done here for the Thieves now on offense?
Right here for the Thieves, I'm 4-man hitting B. At that point, I'm just trusting in our gun skill. You picked the poop for a reason to win those close engagements. So I would just be really aggressive towards that B-bomb site, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The Ravens players are going to have 3 players, and that last player is going to be number 6, which is going to be Zaptius coming from that catwalk steps. There's going to be some fast engagements coming down here. Venom's going to be able to strike first blood. The trade comes in from Paul X. That's going to be 2 from Paul X. Now it's a 3v2 situation, but Shawnee, he's going to overextend. Now force it to a 2v2. The pressure's still on. Kenny's able to spot another, and now it's a 1v1 situation between Kenny and Zaptius.
1 versus 1. Kenny versus Zap. A round that started off pretty quick. Now it's such slow down. But Kenny is able to find him on the tracks. Can Zap get inside the building? And Kenny is going to be able to win it. A huge play coming in from Kylo Ken. And you see the smirk on his face. Sigh of relief in the Thieves camp. What started off as a 5-2 lead came down to the round 11. And I tell you what, man, like Kenny in the open engagement, he got brought down to like 18 HP. I thought he was gonna die whenever he went for the early challenge, but he stays up, plays it right. And how about the Thieves?
Man, that's just a composure on a whole nother level right there for Kenny, because the fact that he almost died in the beginning of that round, stayed alive, was able to pick up that kill onto Shorty to force it into a 2v2, and then he's aggressive to get that second kill onto Paul X, and now in the 1v1, Kenny knows there's a lot of clock left. So eventually he's just gonna decide to wrap back towards top catwalk. Zaptius doesn't really spot him as he gets to that position. And Kenny with that Krig, able to get some early shots in and eventually close out that kill. That 1v1 is gonna really hurt for London because that was their way back into this series. But for the Thieves, this is exactly what we were expecting. So far, they played 3 search and destroys that all went round 11, and finally, they come out on top in 1.
Yeah, man, and that was a major streak broken right there from the Thieves. I think they lost 4 S&Ds in a row. Our stats team's been updating us on everything that we need to know, and that is big for this roster. As we said, they take the Ravens down in the opening hard point. Now they answer back in the search and destroy. And man, we talk about confidence. Kenny has been Mr. Confidence now with that main AR. We've seen him talk about it in regards to the content pieces that they've had. And now for our U.S. Army tactical play, we get to see that confidence now in full focus. Like we said, gets brought down so low. Imagine if Venom just misses a few bullets. Maybe Kenny dies from the flank, but Stud comes down to a 1 versus 1. Walk me through it, buddy.
Yeah, right here it's a 2v2 situation, and he spotted Paul X as he was trying to get up the steps. And then Zaptius is able to get that kill from catwalk side. So Zaptius decides to wrap back through the middle of the map because he knows that the bomb is going to be down, but he didn't expect Kenny to play this fast. Kenny grabs that bomb, he goes straight to the catwalk, and he's able to spot him as he's jumping over the balcony. Gets some early shots in. Eventually, he knows he has the advantage in the gunfight, uses the movement to his ability, and comes out on top in the 1v1.
And I know we saw Zaptius running along the wall there. I know there's been some talk about how if you're running up against the wall, it can make your speed a little bit faster. But Kenny, the faster one with the reactions as Thieves now with the 2-0 advantage. You see what that does on the Ravens side. Can they regain? Now coming into checkmate control. We will find out right after the break.
Dear Jacob, I'm so happy of the man that you have become.
Dear Jeremy, study is what the fans know you by. I know you as my big brother.
We grew up a lot faster than normal kids with the lives that we had.
Growing up in the Bronx, New York, as 2 brothers was as tough as it gets, especially with a single mom working 2 jobs.
You made a decision and chose your path to go into the military, and I couldn't be prouder.
I appreciate you for showing me that going after what makes you happy is well worth the sacrifice.
And I will always be proud of the man that you are.
Continue to be great. I'll see you at the top. Love you, bro.
With all the different paths that we've chosen, obviously me being a pro Call of Duty player, him going the real Call of Duty route, which is being in the military, it's just so different. And the fact that, you know, the communication between us is still out of this world, I know he's always gonna have my back regardless of whatever it is.
May 8th was the greatest day in his life, 1997. That was my birthday. This is my big brother, but he gets a lot of his things from me. We're like one and the same person. So growing up, obviously in the Bronx, it's not the easiest place to grow up.
My mom was a single mom, working multiple jobs just to keep food on the table for me and my brother. She's always kept a roof over our head, and that's why I call her like my superwoman. It's hard. It's hard talking about my mom. When my mom passed away, I was basically starting my career, and once that day happened, it changed my entire world. And it was just really difficult from that point on.
I was already in the military. I was stationed in Virginia, so that Christmas break, I decided to come home. Give me a second. Since then, I've grown to a completely different person, but that day is gonna alter me. That's why I am where I'm at today. And it showed me that every second is valuable.
I think the adversity brought us close because it was only us two.
First stop we ever made is in my parents' house. Hey mom, but we got like another like 5 stops to go. Look at my road.
Being open about this, I think a lot of the viewers on the CDL.
Yeah, I think it definitely relates. A lot of people that go out there and just not able to share their story. Even though it hurts me every time I gotta talk about it, I just know it's definitely gonna impact other people.
I think that's the biggest motive here, right? If we're doing a military appreciation, I think there's a lot of children out there that, lose their mother or their father. Somebody can go through something like this and come out on top.
How do you feel about Jacob and his accomplishments so far?
Oh my God, I'm like beyond so proud of him. Like when I saw my son,
I'm really proud of my brother. For somebody that grew up in the South Bronx, right? He actually did what he set to do. He didn't give up.
It was really proud for me to know that he is a leader, and he continues to do that every day. He just ranks up so fast, and I'm so proud of him. With Call of Duty showing the support that they have to tell a story that, like ours, it just shows that they want to open up to not only the audience that they already have, but extend that and just building a whole new branch of people.
For them to go out their way and show military appreciation, I think a lot of kids out there that play the game and their dads or moms are overseas, they can look at Call of Duty and be like, hey, they actually do care about us.
But the fact that USAA is supporting us, it's awesome, man. And it shows, like I said, that they have our backs 100%.
Shout out to USAA. Good.
Oh man, that was beautiful, my friend. That was such a great content piece with you and your brother. Obviously, in Talks Military Appreciation Week, I know that was rough for you to kind of get through, but I thought that was awesome. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, just rewatching it, it always strikes like a nerve because obviously my mom's not here to see us, but I know she's watching down and she couldn't be any prouder. But I'm just so happy that, Call of Duty and USAA, they decided to shoot our story, able for us to share it out there with the people. Because I hope this is something that people can see, that you can relate. You can come from the bottom and still come out on top. Just keep on putting in the work, and eventually you will see the success that you want to see. But I'm sorry, I'm crying, bro. It's just too much. It's too much.
Hey, man, you're good. You got me teared up a little bit over here, man. I know not in the same place, but oh man, like I said, buddy, that was awesome. That was so good to hear. And like I said, I thought it was great that you guys kind of talked about it too. Like, there's a lot of people out there who, maybe through it, kind of seeing your guys' story, seeing what you guys have been able to do and, rise through adversity and whatnot. It is, it's special, man, without a doubt. But, we're good, man. Are we good? We're good? Wish I could hug you in person, brother.
Let's get back into this game.
Wish I could hug you.
Yeah.
Let's play some COD.
Yeah.
Let's play some COD. Okay.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. All seriousness, folks. Like I said, we have got a great series currently going down between the London Royal Ravens and the LA Thieves. We got Checkmate Control up next. Thieves taking the lead 2-0. A big round 11 victory there on that Express. Son, I love you. That's all I'm going to say. I love you, dude.
I love you too, man. I love you too. But this control between these two teams is going to be great, man. We had such an insane map number 2 to go all the way down to around 11. Obviously, the control is going to be, for both of these teams, their best map. And Obviously, so far, it hasn't really been working out for the Ravens side because that first map wasn't even close. The second map, they weren't really putting a lot of that teamwork that we always talk about with these guys together, and eventually it costed them. But now they're going to go into a control, which is their bread and butter. This is Paul X's favorite map with that assault rifle. He's able to do it with both submachine guns and ARs, so I'm expecting this one to be a banger.
Yeah, man. I mean, Paul on checkmate control, currently a 1.21 KD. On the other side, Drazah on checkmate control, a 1.26. So we obviously talked about the ARs a decent amount. Both teams really have liked control. They have liked checkmate control. And as we've been saying so far throughout the series, these teams have met up. This is their 5th time. They've played 3 checkmate controls in a row versus each other. In a few different lineups. Huke, his first iteration, his first involvement in what is starting to become maybe somewhat of a rivalry in the CDL, but already off the rip, trades aplenty. Drazah getting some work done toward top lane.
Yeah, they're keeping plane control, and this can be a struggle right now for the Ravens because they don't have any map control. The only player that does is going to be Zed, but unfortunately, he's going to drop on that 8 point. Now with time ticking, you see what London are trying to do. They're trying to spread map. They're trying to pick up a couple kills so they can eventually get out of this spawn, but with 2 players going down, eventually they're going to use some progression to get towards that B point. Venom's going to jump off the wing, and so far, it's just been a back and forth battle with London eventually able to get on that 8 point.
See what they can do. Now with that opportunity, Paul, despite finding the kill, he had to go for the hunt. That Nate does take down Zed as well. So that progress would in fact will be halted. Zap, despite being the farthest pushed up player, was left in an awkward position, but finds a kill, also does secure the first tick over at this B point. Meanwhile, Venom get the call out. He's able to walk away with it. That is 2 players who were on both A and B cleared out. And now London finding out of the back of their base. What can they do? Final team push potentially up next. All starting things off, but again, it's just the replies as Kenny nearly found the second. 3 players down from the Ravens, just getting beamed everywhere they can go. Trades on point for the Thieves.
Yeah, right now the Thieves, they're just keeping map control. It's just hard for the Ravens to try to fight out of their base. Even when the kills are getting traded, the Thieves are getting a 2-piece to equal it out. Just like that, the Thieves are able to walk away with their very first defensive round. And this is not a problem when you're playing a map like Checkmate, because yesterday when we watched the Thieves play this map, when we watched the Ravens play this map, they've won 3 defensive rounds. Yeah. So it can be really difficult on their side, but they're not really too worried. They just need to come out and just show that strength on their defensive hold.
And too, like, I mean, that is an impressive round just in general, but also because, so we've been casting over the Ravens a lot. Like, they have been great on their offenses. Like, they took the opening Garrison yesterday on their offense. Obviously, they got the 3-0 versus Røkkr yesterday. But just in general, when they play Checkmate, oftentimes it is those opener offenses that can really catch teams off guard. Because now we'll see what the Thieves can do. Got the necessary job done. What a round this could be just for Thieves' confidence. Like, so we're talking about the 2-0, coming off the round 11 victory. Kenny with the 1 versus 1, and a lot at stake. A nice double comes in from Paul and Shardy toward the backside of the plane. That is going to be terrifying if you're Venom in that particular position. You're trying to make a nice play toward top play, then you just got 2 Kriegs staring down your soul. A similar situation to last round. Thieves in the back of their base. They look to set up somewhat of a team push now toward the B point.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Paul X, before he dropped there, he was on at least a 4 to 5 spree, so he was able to single-handedly kill every single player on the Thieves side. But this is what Ravens do so well. They are just so good at holding down play control. Players are just constantly flooding back and forth. They already have a 3 live advantage, and this is what Zed does. He's just going to be a nuisance in the base, able to just focus, turn the focus of the Thieves players to make sure that they're trying to locate him and trying to take him down. But with 20 seconds left, the Thieves need to try to get out of their spawn. Zapdius is still picking up kills left side on this yellow crate, spawning all those players from the Thieves towards back blue. With 10 seconds left, they're just holding the line. And Thieves, unless a miracle happens to get on this B point, it's going to be another defensive round win, this time for the Ravens.
I guess with just both teams being so talented at checkmate control, I guess you'd kind of expect, right, for there to be maybe a stronger play on defense. I know we talk often about, offense, as we discussed earlier with the Ravens, but like, just because of how well seasoned both of these teams are, it just kind of gives an echo to how difficult it's going to be to walk away with an offensive victory, because both these teams, they like to play it with top of the KDs coming into it. I don't want to, speak too early, Stud, but it very well could be that situation where it's just a matter of who can get more points, more control points, more sequences to see who can have the defensive side in that round 5.
Yeah, so right now both teams have yet to capture one. So this is a pretty even playing field on both sides. You have the Thieves once again going on the defense, and the Ravens, when they play this map, they really like to start off with an early B point. So I would like to see that break off, especially from Zed. He likes to just finesse around that lower plane just to get some early ticks to try to get that defense just in case it goes to a round 5. But they're just going to take their time on offense once again, just trying to open up with the kill. And that's a great start with Shawnee getting Kenny. And that's going to be 2 down, so now this is going to open up the map for the Royal Ravens players.
They've also got Huke, pretty much trapped for the A Street. That trying to play his life. He is also in the 5 spree. That could have been big. Decides to jump on out, and maybe future thoughts on that one. Maybe try to stay alive considering the spree that you're on, but hey, out of sight, out of mind. Still getting time over at that B point, and really with those 2 initial kills, we talk about it constantly, right? That opening gunfight on the offensive end, if you can get 2 to 3 players down off the start, how awesome that can be. So B point is going to be secured now over toward A, and it's Drazah trying to make some work happen on the flank. Top plane currently in Venom's hands.
The first tick is already in, but that's going to be all 4 players right there for the Ravens dropped. So now they have to try to fight out of their base, but they have a lot of time to work with. 2 minutes left on the clock. Thieves know that they have to pick up a majority of these kills if they want to be able to hold down this defensive round. They know how difficult it can be to just hold down this A point by itself, but with 2 kills going to the feed, make it 3. Zed being the only player left on that A point, they should be able to just keep map control, eliminate this player before he completes that second tick.
And I'm watching the cross, so Zed does in fact find the kill toward the point, and he will basically be the only player here. Tries to get the turn on there to Huke, and just as that second tick nearly is there, it's a nice little reply, but the stack off of spawn. London, 1 more left to lock up this offense. And Kenny, he's really just waiting for some teammate support, has to jump on in, knows that the time is now. Takes down Zap, also has a hand in shutting down Zed, and there is Paul. A lovely triple coming through from Kenny.
And Kenny saves the game right there. If he doesn't get those kills, they eventually close out this round, and that'd be Ravens up 2-1. But they're still in this defensive hold. Now we're starting to push up for more map control. Kenny's going to continue on that streak before he gets shut down by Shawnee. But now we're all at tied lives, 11-11. 1 tick remaining for the Ravens to walk away with this one. Zaptis is going to put some pressure on, but Huke's able to take him down. Kenny with the second. So now 2 players left from the Ravens side to just try to keep map control, try to keep the pressure on, and that's exactly what Shawnee and Zed are going to do. Able to pick up a couple kills. That's going to put Shawnee on a 5 spree. Zaptis is eventually going to get into the play, and now London are on the point.
Yeah, just look toward the front. Zed, Huke tries to jump on in, but the Ravens, they find the timing. And really, Minute Guy, I think it's fair to say, it just comes down to their aggressiveness. Like, they were just so annoying on this A Street. Obviously, they go for the B capture off the rip, and that just makes their life so much easier. But I guess when we're talking about, like a family tree, right? You're going to the very root of like what kind of caused that. It is that opening start, right? It's the opening start that allows for them to have the freedom to have those 2 minutes, and they really just utilize their numbers correctly. Just another emphasis on how important it can be in those opening engagements is now coming into round 4. Johnny sitting on the 5 spree. How big streaks would be in this situation for Ravens? And the Thieves send us to a final round.
Thieves here to start off with some early kills, but Zaptius able to open up a 1. Zaptius gets 2. He's trying to go for the 3rd, but it's going to be traded. But this is another situation that we just saw the Ravens players. 2 players left on the map. Try to get some map control. You have to find some kills, but both players are going to drop. So now Ravens have plane control. They are pushed up on that A alley, and they're swanning all of the Thieves players towards back yellow. With a minute left on the clock, no progression on either point. Thieves need to start to go to work.
And he 5 HP somehow stays alive. That's going to be the stack now over toward A. 2 players watching the progression. 2 players inside of the objective. Let's see, based off London, so they will look to stack toward top plane. That's really where the emphasis of whether or not this point can be captured is going to end. They can't really find the peak. They can't find the peak, but they do win the gunfights toward both areas. And what a moment that is for the Ravens. Granted, they do get 2 ticks off of it, but 45 on the clock. You know exactly where London are going to want to, or rather where the Thieves are going to want to attack. Drazah getting some unfortunate hip fire. He's going to drop. Kenny does as well. A few more, maybe 1 or 2 more coordinated pushes from the Thieves. Left in the tank.
Yeah, they need to go. Clock is starting to tick, and that's a good way to open it. With 2 kills going in your favor, make it 3. So that with that 3 down, they should potentially be able to close out this 8 point, unless Paul X is going to be God and take down all 3 just a nick of time. But a time is going to extend. Kenny, unfortunately, he's going to drop there, but trades are going back and forth. The only player left in this position is going to be Zaptius. We're all tied up in lives. With a minute left remaining, Thieves know exactly what they need to do. They need to fight for plane control. They need to put them in a little trap. Probably push up one of these alleys to set up a little spawn trap. Shawnee, he's pushed up all the way towards yellow. Cray, Zed is doing the same. And that's going to be 3 down. Now the Thieves, down by 2 lives, have to fight out of the spawn.
And Zed, and he's just been so annoying in the base. Finally does get found out there from Kenny, but see his job. He just wants to pepper up some players, try to stay in the base, cause some issues. Just go to the areas where you know the Thieves aren't going to be watching nearly as often. 37 seconds on the clock. Time is going to be stopped for the moment. The pause is in. And Drazah's teammates win the fights toward the outside. That's where Zaptius is looking to make the biggest of impacts. Finding 2, finding 3. A huge play coming in from Zap as Lightning strikes twice toward the flank. And that very well may be the play that seals the deal. 7-7 in lives. Can the Thieves in this situation get the kills that they need to? That's going to be 2 off the start. Players coming off of spawn as the clock will be paused. 2 players hop onto the point. You see player 2 off of spawn. That's going to be Huke. Toward that A streak, trying to be so annoying. That's another kill for the Thieves. 3 go down, and it's all down to Zed. Zed's the farthest pushed up player. That's going to be 2 ticks. Zaptius is the last player alive. And this is going to be a round for the Thieves as they stack the point. And a situation where they have to clutch up, they do. And now we have ourselves a round 5 here, stud.
And this is where my mind is not working as fast as the game is. I don't know who's going to get defense. Both of these guys were able to successfully win an offensive round, capturing both points. Now, all probably is going to come down to kills. And for some reason, I feel like the Ravens have really outslayed, at least by a little bit, to get that defensive round, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So, you're going to have the Thieves on another offensive push. Currently, 3 players are sitting on a 3 spree on a map like Checkmate, where streaks are not really useful. Those can definitely come about just for information with that artillery. But it's all about the break-off. What can the Thieves do to try to open up some initial time onto one of these points? Venom able to take down one. Shawnee with the trade. Right now, they're just trying to focus up on some kills. Majority of the gunfights going in favor of the Ravens. And now the Thieves, with 3 players coming off spawn, they have to rethink the strategy and how they want to attack this. Are they going to try to go towards that 8 point? And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Zap, man, he just continues to be a problem. That was like his opening life in this control round. Has a huge hand to play in how those first few engagements went down over at B. But Thieves, they do get the timing. They are able to take down a few in stride. And now it's going to be their second pick made over at A. And again, we talked about offense here on Checkmate. You will take this without a doubt. 2 minutes now on the clock as London look to try and focus up. With the flank, Paul. Able to take down one toward the A straight. Drazah there for the reply. And you can just feel the tensity right now. The pressure on the Raven shoulders. The momentum possibly in the hands of the Thieves. Still quite a bit of time to play with, though, if you are LA in this situation.
So LA, they're able to get one, but they still don't have any map control. In London, they've just been putting layer after layer, with player after player, just being aggressive towards that mid plane. They just do such a great job at holding it down. So you see the way the Thieves are trying to attack this. They're trying to just push towards this bottom right wing, pick up a couple kills, but a great nade is going to come on from Drazah. The trade is going to come in from Kenny, so that's going to be 2 down now for the Ravens. And just pay attention to number 2. Look at who he's thinking about the big play. He's going for the flank. He's trying to spawn all these players towards the back of P5. And unfortunately, he's not able to pick up any kills there, but it just stalls a lot of time for his teammates to eventually double stack this point. The second tick is going to come in. And only 1 tick remaining. The Thieves can close it out here.
They're like just off of the second tick. Yeah, they have not officially gotten that one yet. Oh, and that's a big gunfight win there from Zed. Just like that, London off of spawn. They're able to join on up. Because now it kind of becomes somewhat of a search and destroy type of situation where first blood is so important. Paul takes down the opening. And there goes 3. Left up to Huke. Still some lives on the board. 9 to be exact for Thieves. 10 for the Ravens. Zed's looking to get super comfortable now in the base. On the 5 spree, getting some assistance there from Zaptius. Meanwhile, toward the middle side of the map, Thieves have something going, but can they read Zed? Can they get them out of the base? First player done. Paul on the trade gets dropped as well. But can Huke win a big gunfight? Gets the assistance there from Kenny. No trophy necessary. Zaptius toward the backside of the point. Is he going to stay alive because of the nade? No, the extra damage is done. 5 to 4 in lives, but 2 players, they're still here. They're still here for the Thieves. Can anybody from London get here in time? Shawnee has to jump in. He's still in the point, but Venom, the Thieves hold on and they get the trades as it will be a 3-0 sweep for Los Angeles, clutching up in the mightiest of ways, walking away with the control in round 5. And what a win that this is. What a game this means for the Thieves.
Man, back-to-back offensive wins that went down to the very ending moments for the Thieves to clutch up and close that out. You saw Huke. Huke was that player that was trying to be the playmaker, consistently pushing through that yellow alley to try to get behind those teammates of the Ravens players. But at that point, you saw what the Thieves were trying to do. They were just putting their main focus on just timing those kills correctly. You saw Huke, he pushes up that yellow street, he wraps back through the middle of the map, and he's able to kill Paul X as he was set up on Tetris, which really opens up the map. They eliminated Zed, they eliminated Paul out of their base, and once they found that 3rd kill, there's 3 players immediately sprinting towards that point. They know the stack is bound to come in. A couple engagements go back and forth, but the Thieves that do such a great job at those final moments, picking up those kills and eventually closing it out.
Big victory there for the Thieves, and bitter end of it. Ravens, now aware of the loss. It was a Cinderella type story. Midnight has struck here on day 3 of Major 3. As we take a look back now at the scoreboard, man, Drazah 31 and 25. Kenny getting so involved in regards to damage. What Drazah dropped 6K. Kenny at 5,500 goes 32 and 30. I mean, just all around a phenomenal game. Some great replies there for London, and that is why we see Checkmate play. That is why Control is so interesting when we talk about this series. But it's been a rivalry that only continues to brew. It was the Stage 2 Major that gave the Thieves, right, the reverse sweep that they had versus this London franchise. That is what kind of catapulted them to making the plays that they did. And now, what, just a few months, rather just a month later, the Thieves are able to do it again, this time with the official sweep. But tell you what, man, we got to take a look back at kind of the final plays of that Control. Our scuff play of the game is what was a very chaotic finish. I'll be honest with you, Stud. I thought that I was about to lose air based off how every single player was doing something. Every play was going down, but what did you see from it?
So right there, you've seen it in the mini-map. Number 2, he was the only player pushed up towards Yellow Alley. But once Zaptius drops, they know that Zed is still in blue. Drazah is able to handle him. Eventually, Drazah gets traded. But getting that kill onto Paul was huge. And then eventually, team shots come in to drop down Shawnee. And you see all 3 players from the Thieves start sprinting forward because that stack is bound to come in. A huge gunfight once again from Huke on the side of that point. Didn't really like the challenge right there out of Kenny, but at the end of the day, you still have 2 teammates on this point. The trade does come in, and eventually the point is going to get captured. It was just, like I said, perfectly timed. The fact that Huke went all the way from that right street, cut back through the middle of the map to go bottom plane to help his teammates get out of that trap was the biggest play of the game. The teamwork is starting to develop for the Thieves, and that was a good series to start it.
Yeah. Oh, man, this could be the start of something special, and we talk about how the bracket is lining up now. Thieves, they get the big W here versus the Royal Ravens, and when we talk about scheduling, we get Dallas Empire versus OpTic next, which is going to be incredible. Right after that series, Stud, Thieves are getting ready to play Ultra, so it is not a matter of, okay, we'll see them again tomorrow. No, we're going to see them in just a few hours. How do you think that kind of affects from the Ultras perspective, now coming into their first series of the day, Thieves, just maybe an hour and a half wait that they're going to have between series?
Yeah, it's going to be a little hard for the Ultra, but they're a top dog for a reason. They're going to come into the match prepared. But I'm excited to see that rematch between the Thieves and them, because at the Major 2, that's the reason why the Thieves are no longer in the tournament, because they ran into Ultra and Ultra beat them in a 3-1 fashion. And now they have a new player in Huke. They're starting to develop that chemistry, starting to show in the respawns. Obviously, the S&D could be a little better, a little cleaner at closing out in those final moments, but they have some confidence now, finally getting that first win underneath their belt.
Yeah, you got to feel good if you are the LA Thieves. A major W here as they will progress to play off, against the Toronto Ultra a little bit later. Still, of course, we'll wait on the result of Dallas Empire versus OpTic Chicago, as the winner of that will play Florida Mutineers in our T-Mobile 5G weekly drop game. Atlanta FaZe versus the New York Subliners study. That is going to be an insane matchup to lock up our Saturday.
Yep. Yes, it is, man. You know, the way that New York is playing right now, undefeated in hardpoint, you know, I don't want to be biased because I'm from New York, but those guys are really good, man. FaZe are going to have to bring it today, just like they did versus Toronto, and that's going to be one of those banger matches. I can't wait to watch it.
Like I said, man, it's going to be a long day, right? We got 5 series, but we're just through the first one. It's going to be a long day. Like I know we were talking to Miles and Chance earlier. They're going to have like the final few games, and it's like, hey guys, we'll see you like in 6 hours. It's going to be a long time, but at the same time, it kind of feels like kind of a classic Call of Duty day, where you got just matches all the way throughout the day. It is awesome, man. When we talk about what these teams are fighting for, how important that each of these matchups is, it's not just for pride, but it's also for quite a bit of cash, man. $500,000 prize pool, of course, first walking away with $200,000. And with that loss, right, for London, they still do walk away with $10,000 in that 7th/8th place finish. But as we said, for this series, the Thieves will escape. They will walk away with a solid 3-0 win versus a hot London team. When we come back after the break, it is Jess joined alongside by the new guy. It's Huke the Nuke, Huke Skywalker here with an interview talking about that game. We'll be back with that.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
All right, we are here for your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight with Huke the Nuke. Oh my goodness, what a match that was. Congratulations on your first win as an LA Thief. So I want to take it back to what Paul X said in his interview yesterday. I'm sure you probably heard. He predicted that the London Royal Ravens would take a quick 3-0, 35 minutes or less off of you guys. So hearing that interview, what did that do to your motivation here today in this match?
I think the whole team came into this match with a chip on their shoulder for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're feeling good. We're feeling confident moving forward. So I feel like that gave us that extra bit of confidence to go into this match with the extra fire. So thank you for saying that.
And I think that confidence certainly showed up in your gameplay. Like we said, what a match that was. So, you are just 3 games in here with this squad. So with you transitioning in, how close does that put you guys to kind of, the LA Thieves that we all know and love?
Wait, say that last part again. My bad.
How close are you as a squad to kind of where you want to be, or maybe where you feel you should be with, you transitioning into the team now?
We're right there. Honestly, all it's going to take is like getting, on the same page with that game plan, and we're right there. Just moving forward as long as we keep practicing, and I mean, shit, we got this whole tournament. So I'm excited. I'm excited to keep going. I don't know.
Good. Okay. Well, you know what? I love that confidence. I'm glad to hear that you're right there where you want to be. So thank you so much, and best of luck later today versus the Ultra.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you heard it from Huke. We're right there, right where they want to be. But that is enough from me and the Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Stay tuned. We've got another banger of a match. OpTic versus Empire coming up next. We'll see you soon.
With the advantage off of spawn, but Dashy's reading him. Only one player holding down the hard point by himself off of spawn. Apathy tosses a nade, gives a prayer, but it's not going to be answered. Scump on the flank. That's going to be 2, and that very well may have done it. Scump on the flank. The king gets it done, finds the lane, gets the double, and OpTic stay alive in the elimination bracket here at stage 3.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Good close, baby. Go, baby.
Oh my god, these are so bad.
Good, watch this. Finesse them so hard. Watch this. I literally 4-piece them.
OpTic stay alive, and the battle continues on. Now, going to be going up against Empire. And Joe, this one we cannot wait for. And I want to talk a little bit about OpTic. Just how much do you think this is a confidence thing for them, and how much of a boost did they get yesterday? Because I tweeted about it on the flank yesterday. They were talking about confidence. It's massive.
Oh, I think it's definitely a big confidence thing. You kind of look at the way, especially respawns throughout stage 3. They started off this year being such a strong respawn team. But in terms of like them getting to a winning team. I think confidence, but there's also some of the little things that need to get fixed up. They're still making mistakes in certain game modes. Yeah, confidence to get back to maybe where they were 100%. But for them to move past that, I think there is definitely some things they have to work on.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely multiple parts to this. Another team maybe looking for some confidence, as they've been on the struggle bus as of late, is their matchup against Empire. This is a team trying to find their flow, with FeLo now on the roster. Huke out, obviously, as you just saw him with 100 Thieves. But let's check out the team. Let's take a look at Dallas Empire.
Dallas Empire have smashed the gates open.
FeLo with the round 1 ace.
Oh, it's a shot punch. Oh, no! Once again, they saved the day.
Well, Joe, I know it hasn't been perfect for this team since the change, but we've seen some improvements, right? FeLo's been bright in some spots, and iLLeY, who I think really struggled after the change, has definitely started to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some bright spots. I think the hard point is maybe the one area where you could say, all right, they can compete. Search and Control still struggling. And then in winners round 1, you have a very tough matchup against Atlanta FaZe. They got 3-0'd pretty quickly, but they have to refocus now. You get to this losers bracket, and every single day they're trying to get back into that form. So a big match here for the Dallas Empire.
Yeah, and maybe the fact is, like, maybe you can't beat the Ultra or the FaZe right now, but you still need the points, right? It's going to be a tight race, and they're in a good position, but any points you can get when you're thinking about top 8 for champs is going to be huge. Another team looking to put themselves in a better position within that top 8 as we get later into the year is OpTic. Let's take a look at the team. OpTic Gaming.
Brutal, mighty keeps it going. Normal, looking fantastic. Envoy slaying his way through. Scump from up high, the king.
I'm out here doing what they thinking is irrational.
Really starting to run that score up.
I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna make it back, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpTic Gaming are back. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
Joe, it kind of felt like yesterday, like, if they don't clutch up and win that round 11, like, who the hell knows? Like, they needed that. They desperately needed that. They get the win, and then, to me, it seemed like they just looked a little bit more confident, making decisions quicker on the map. I hope we see more of that today.
Yeah, I think that was, being up 5-3, get out of Moscow, search and destroy, lose a couple of rounds in a row. They probably should have won, and that round 11, as you said, was huge. Not going to that game 5 with the Los Angeles Guerrillas was big for them.
Yeah, but let's get to the game keys to victory. You can kind of talk through maybe what you were thinking for OpTic Chicago.
Well, Envoy, he has been the difference maker in Respawn. So Respawn hasn't been great in Stage 3, but if you look at this, 1.24 when they are winning in Control, 1.3 in hard points. So look for Envoy to continue that. SD, though, it needs to stay strong. With your Respawn game now being where we expect it to be, they are 4-2, and Scump has really been the leader in this mode. 1.5 in search throughout Stage 3, and a double positive in that round 11 versus the Guerrillas. And then in terms of what the heck is going on Respawn-wise throughout Stage 3, one guy I'm looking at has to be Dashy, right? Like, this is a guy we expect to be a superstar, and a .93 in hardpoint and control, just not cutting it for me. If he can get better, if he can get that confidence with that Krig, that's when they get back to that potential to upset anyone.
Well, yeah, it's like he's on the